I am here on assignment from my newspaper, writing stories about Poland and Polish Jewish life. And of course, there's a lot of interest in Israel right now in this new legislation in Poland about the Holocaust. This is a very, very special place for me in a personal way because the two women who saved my family during the Holocaust, Franciszki Hałamajowej and Heleny Liniewskiej, they lived here the final years of their life in this region in a town called Rakszawę, a very small village actually. They were originally from Sokal, which is a town on the Bug River, about 80 kilometers from Lviv, which was part of Poland until World War II. After the war, the borders changed, but even before the war was over, Franciszki Hałamajowej had to flee her hometown in Sokal because in addition to hiding 15 Jews, she was also hiding a German soldier in her house who had defected from the army because he didn't want to fight for Hitler anymore. When the Russians came in and they found out that she had a German soldier in her house, they thought she was collaborating with the Nazis and they threatened to kill her. So she ran away from her home to Rakszawę, where her daughter was already living. This was the first time I met Victoria. Victoria was married to the son of Helena, who was the grandson of Franciszka. And at her house, I was shown some photographs I'd never seen before, letters, Christmas cards, and testaments that I'd never seen before. So it was extremely moving for me to learn new things about the story. Even after I thought I knew everything, I discovered today that there were things I didn't know. It was a very emotional meeting for everybody. Victoria was crying when I asked her to talk about her mother-in-law, who, you know, when I say she's an angel, I'm not using that term lightly. She and her mother risked their lives to save so many people when we all know, you have the Ullman Museum here, what would have happened to them if they were caught. Everybody knows what price they would have paid. So just to think about what they did to save their Jewish neighbors. But I think at the same time it's really important for me to stress that they were truly a minority. There weren't that many people that were willing to do that. Now, I can't say I blame them because they knew they would be risking their lives by doing that. We were sitting very comfortably in Victoria's home, having coffee, very comfortable place, and, you know, just talking about what conditions people were living like 70 years ago. I'm not talking about 1,000 or 20,000 years ago. I'm talking about 70 years ago. People were living like animals, and they had no choice if they wanted to survive. That's how they had to live. So it's, you know, every time we think that we know the story and then sometimes we hear it again and again, it becomes just unbelievable, this whole story. And, you know, every little new detail. And, you know, for me it was also very special because Franciszki Hałamajowej is a woman for my whole life. I've admired her so much, and you know, you always ask yourself, if you could meet someone in history who's no longer alive today, who would you want to meet? And for me, without a question, I would want to meet her. She died 1 year before I was born. And today, I found a picture of her as a young woman. All the other pictures have been of her old with white hair, and to see what a beautiful young woman she is, I will treasure this picture now. Was so different because of the terrible ending. It's just heartbreaking to see the pictures of those children, and you just ask yourself, how could there be, on the one hand, human beings who behave so horribly, so atrociously, and on the other hand, you ask yourself, how could there be human beings that are so good? I will say it's a lovely place to visit. I saw the synagogue is absolutely extraordinary. It's beautiful. It's a treasure. So it's a must-see for every Jewish person traveling through Poland. I would definitely recommend the Ulman Museum. It's beautiful, and I think it's really important to pay tribute to all these people all these very few people who risk their lives and their children's lives to save other people. I still have to see some other sites here, so I'm going to come back myself.